אני בהאזנה, רק תיתנו לי דקה לפני שנעמוד.
יש לך עוד משהו תגיד אחי שאתה יודע? חדש? לא יודע? טוב, סבבה, יאללה. عيني تبول אתה ראית שהת הזה? עוד לא. תראה את השיירה, אפילו מרחוק צמא לי הם הייתי. תנפנה ותקרב, הוא אומר לך משהו. לא, זה נראה לך למתיים. פחות מחמש דקות, הנשיא ביידן יהיה כאן. עכשיו השיירה של הנשיא ביידן עושה את דרכה מהמלון מלך דוד לכאן לאוגוסטה ויקטוריה כדי לפגוש את הנהלת בית החולים ולהעניק להם סכום כספי. עכשיו ראינו את אנשי הביטחון גם עושים את הבדיקות האחרונות לפני שמגיעה השיירה. רק לפני כמה דקות ראינו גם את יחידת האופנועים מגיעה לכאן לפני השיירה, ככל הנראה כדי להבטיח. המסוק עוד מתקרב, המסוק המשטרתי שחג מעלינו כאן כדי להבטיח את מסלול השיירה. פחות מחמש דקות הנשיא ביידן נכנס מהכניסה הזאת לבית החולים אוגוסטה ויקטוריה, הביקור הראשון ממינו, ביקור נשיאותי הראשון ממינו לבית חולים ששייך לרשות הפלסטינאית. אנחנו מבינים שהוא בא לכאן במסגרת ביקור פרטי כדי להעניק תרומה כספית שככל הנראה תסגור את הגירעון שיש לבית החולים הזה שמאחורינו, שמתמחה יותר גם במחלות סרטן למיניהן. אנחנו מבינים שבית החולים הזה הוקם לפני כ-70 שנה על ידי הכנסייה האורתודוקסית כאן במזרח ירושלים. הנה אנחנו שומעים עכשיו את הסירנות ואת האזעקות של המשטרה שמעדות לנו שכן הנשיא עושה את דרכו ברגעים אלו ברחבי השרד שלו לכאן ממלך דוד. עכשיו הולך המשטרה עכשיו כן, אנחנו נבקש מהצלם שלנו עכשיו שיתמקד יותר בצומת הראשית ובכניסה הראשית של בית החולים אוגוסטה ויקטוריה שממנה גם יעבור הנשיא ביידן. אנחנו יודעים שכן הוא מתקרב כי פשוט המסוק המשטרתי שמאבטח את השיירה ואת המסלול של השיירה מתקרב אלינו, אז אנחנו מבינים שכן השיירה מתקרבת, כמו שאמר גם ישי לפני כמה דקות שהוא יצא משם, אז זה בטח עוד פחות משלוש דקות נראה את הרכבים השחורים של הנשיא האמריקאי מתקרבת לכאן. הרכב השרד שלו שהוא רכב כל כך גם מפורסם שמעניק ביטחון כל כך כבד לנשיא מתקרב לכאן לבית החולים אגוסטה ויקטוריה, כמו שהזכרנו, הבית החולים שמתמחה יותר
אני יודע. הוא עוד דקה פה, דקה וחצי.
כמובן. הנה חברים, תבואו אלינו חברים, תבואו אלינו. הנה השיירה נכנסת. הנה השיירה נכנסת עכשיו. כן, השיירה עכשיו נכנסת.
נשמע תחור אוגוסטה ויקטוריה, נסיעה קצרה דוד, מרכז העיר,
נכון. מוריה, כן, אנחנו רואים שהשיירה ברכבי השרד של הנשיא ביידן, גם כולל ההבטחה של השב"כ, נכנסים לתוך בית חולים אוגוסטה ויקטוריה. עכשיו אנחנו רואים כל כך הרבה רכבים שנכנסו קודם, גם הרכב של הנשיא עצמו נכנס לתוך המעבר שמוביל לבית החולים אוגוסטה ויקטוריה. הנה השיירה עוד נמשכת, הרבה רכבים שמגיעים גם ששייכים לארצות הברית וגם לישראל וגם לשירות הביטחון הכללי, השב"כ שגם מאבטח את הביקור הזה. אבל כמו שהזכרנו גם רואה קודם, שהבקשה של משרד הבריאות הישראלי לצרף נציג מטעם משרד הבריאות לביקור הזה נמצא בסירוב בקרב האמריקאים, כי פשוט לא רצו שיהיה נציג ישראלי בביקור הזה, וטענו שזה ביקור פרטי אמריקני יותר שמביא את הנשיא ביידן לכאן כדי להעניק תרומה כספית לבית חולים אוגוסטה ויקטוריה. כמו שהזכרנו, הבית חולים הזה הוקם לפני כ-70 שנה על ידי הכנסייה האורתודוקסית כאן במזרח ירושלים, והוא מתמחה יותר במחלות סרטן ומחלות כליות. וממה שאנחנו מבינים גם שעכשיו יש להם גירעון כל כך גדול, הם מקבלים הרבה תרומות כספיות אגב מהאיחוד האירופי ומדינות ערב, אבל אנחנו יודעים איפה הכספים האלו זורמים ולאיפה זורמים. רק להסביר מוריה, דבר שקצת מצחיק, שהשיירה הזאת שאנחנו רואים מאחורינו ממש דומה לשיירה של אבו מאזן שהגיע בה לנריה, לבית לחם. אותה שיירה שאנחנו רואים לא מביישת, גם השיירה של אבו מאזן לא מביישת את השיירה הזאת. אז אנחנו מבינים איפה הכספים והתרומות של האיחוד האירופי ושל מדינות ערב הולכים. ככל הנראה הולכים לדלק ולרחבי היוקרה של אבו מאזן והפמיליה שלו. נכון. עוד נמשך. תקשורת ישראלית, נכון מאוד, תקשורת ישראלית לא תיכנס. אנחנו ביקשנו גם מאתמול להיכנס ולסקר את הביקור החשוב הזה מתוך בית החולים. הבקשה שלנו נענתה בסירוב, והם יעבירו לנו את השידור ואת התמונות מתוך בית החולים בשידור חי. עוד מעט אנחנו נראה את זה על המסך, גם הביקור בפנים בתוך בית החולים, וגם את הנשיא ביידן שהולך גם להעניק את הסכום הכספי. מדובר כאן בעשרות מיליוני דולרים שהוא הולך לתת ממש להנהלת בית החולים אוגוסטה ויקטוריה. שנייה, חשבתי שאתם הולכים, שנייה. טוב, אני מכבד. יאללה.
test, test. Test, test, test.
Please welcome the President of the United States, accompanied by Dr. Fadi Atrash.
Mr. President, I'm really thrilled and honored to welcome you in East Jerusalem at Augusta Victoria Hospital. On behalf of the East Jerusalem Hospital Network and on behalf of the Lutheran World Federation, the owner of this hospital and this beautiful compound. Your gesture, Mr. President, is very important to the Palestinian people in East Jerusalem and throughout the West Bank and Gaza, and especially for the East Jerusalem Hospital Network. Not only you are bringing hope to thousands of Palestinian patients, but also you are bringing hope to the eastern part of the city, a key component of a long and just peace. You know, Dr. Biden and yourself are champions of great humanitarian deeds, and today you are doing this again by supporting our hospitals. Our hospitals are integral to the Palestinian healthcare system, delivering specialized services, highly qualified, high-quality services, treating millions of Palestinians in West Bank, Gaza, and in East Jerusalem. Those patients coming to our hospitals are suffering from complicated illnesses, cancers, and really they find refuge only in our East Jerusalem hospitals. East Jerusalem Hospital also have been playing an important role, historical role, in the development and the capacity building of the Palestinian healthcare system. And we are willing to continue playing this role to make the life of our Palestinian people better, healthier, and the healthcare accessible. Mr. President, your historical visit to East Jerusalem and Augusta Victoria is a courageous statement of support for the Palestinian people and a genuine call for peace in the Middle East and in the Holy Land, starting from East Jerusalem. You know, Mr. President, we Palestinians are same like Americans. Americans have their own American dream for which they have worked hard and they are living. And we have our own dream that we want to achieve. And for this, we need hope, justice, freedom, and support from friends like you in America and all over the world. Again, Mr. President, thank you for the support you are giving us today and tomorrow through your teams on the ground. And especially I would like to thank your teams here and in Washington, D.C. who continue to support our East Jerusalem Hospital. We are extremely, extremely happy to have you, and you are most welcome, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Joe Biden. I am Joe Biden's husband. She has been here twice before me. And before I began, I'd like to say that, you know, the old expression, hope springs eternal. My background and the background of my family is Irish American. And we have a long history of not fundamentally unlike the Palestinian people with Great Britain and their attitude toward Irish Catholics over the years, for 400 years. But my colleagues, when I was a U.S. Senator, used to always joke with me that I was always quoting Irish poets when I was on the floor of the Senate. And they thought I did it because I'm Irish. That's not the reason I did it. I did it because they're the best poets in the world. And there's a great poem from the Curate Troy, a paragraph. It goes like this. And it's classically Irish, but it also could fit Palestinians. It says, history teaches us not to hope on this side of the grave, but then, once in a lifetime, that longed-for tidal wave of justice rises up, and hope and history rhyme. Hope and history rhyme. It is my prayer that we're reaching one of those moments where hope and history rhyme. Are there any nurses in the room? Because if they're not, I'm going home. If there are any angels in heaven, no, I'm doing this sincerely from the bottom of my heart. My wife and daughter were killed, and my boys were trapped in a vehicle for 3 hours when a tractor trailer hit them. The doctors saved their lives, but the nurses made them want to live, cared for them every day, knew when they were ready and when they weren't ready. I was making a speech, and I had a terrible headache. Excuse me, a terrible headache. And sorry. I swallowed wrong. I had a terrible headache. This is years ago. And I did a very stupid thing. I got on an aircraft and I flew home. Turned out I had 2 cranial aneurysms. And I got rushed to a hospital in the middle of a snowstorm for a 9.5-hour operation. It saved my life. Then I had the second operation. They found an aneurysm on the other side of my brain. I joked the reason they went in twice to take the top of my head off was they couldn't find a brain the first time. But in between, I had a major embolism. It almost killed me. Nothing unusual that other people haven't gone through. But I look back on, and I don't think you nurses are nearly appreciated enough. What I found was, you lie in the ICU, and I've not said this publicly before, and you look at the monitors, and you know if the line goes flat, you're dead. You don't know what each monitor is, but you know. And I really mean it, Bishop. It's true. But you just get tired, even when you're not in pain. You just want to quit. And the nurses at Walter Reed Hospital would come up, and they'd rub my face. They'd whisper in my ear. They'd get close and tell me it's going to be okay. They made a difference in my life. My son spent a year in Iraq. He was the Attorney General of the state of Delaware. He should be the man standing here talking to you as president, not me. He came home because where he slept for a year in Iraq was about 150 yards from a burn pit where they burned everything from fuel to garbage. He went, the fittest guy in his regiment, in his outfit. They came home with stage 4 glioblastoma. I watched for 14 months the nurses take care of him, the doctors as well, but every day. Every single day. And so I really mean it from the bottom of my heart. Nurses. Doctors are critical. I'm not in any way diminishing the role of a doctor. But nurses. Nurses give you as much hope, male and female, as anybody else does. I want to thank the CEO and everyone at East Jerusalem Hospital Network for welcoming me this morning. This is the first time I had the opportunity to see for myself the outstanding work that you do here that I've heard about for such a long time. My wife, Jill, visited in both 2010 and 2016, and I'm honored to be able to see firsthand the service and the quality of care you provide the Palestinian people. These hospitals are the backbone of the Palestinian healthcare system. People turn to you in their moment of need, as you well know, with their children who are sick, with a loved one who's injured, when they get that cancer diagnosis, the most feared word, I think, in all languages is when the doctor looks at you and says, it's cancer. They don't know what to do. You not only care for them, you guide them. It's the same people all over the world. In that moment, all that matters is you have someone that you can turn to and radiates hope and help. That's why the United States, through the Agency for International Development, has been proud to support this network of hospitals with $85 million since 2014. It's part of our commitment to support health and dignity to the Palestinian people. Maybe the most overused phrase, word in the English language for the Irish is dignity. My dad used to say, everyone, no matter what their circumstance, is entitled to be treated with dignity. Dignity. And dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic took a hard toll here, as it did in so many communities around the world. So today, I'm pleased to announce the United States is committing an additional $100 million to support these hospitals, your staffs, and that work for the Palestinian people. This is a multi-year commitment on both resources and expertise. When I was vice president, I asked the president, then Barack Obama, I asked him whether or not I could start what we called a cancer moonshot. I visited every major cancer hospital in the world, with one exception, and I mean it literally. Because there's so much we're just on the edge of being able to discern. We're so close, dealing with so many cancers. When I got elected president, I announced that one of my goals was to change cancer as we know it. So it was no longer viewed by many people as it is, as a death sentence, but as a disease that can either be cured or lived with. And we started this cancer moonshot with billions of dollars at home. Within our National Institute of Health, I set up a provision where, like within the Defense Department, there's a special office. In the Defense Department, it's nothing but looking at breaking technologies, whether it's just across the board. That's where the internet came from. Well, I'm doing the same thing at the National Institute of Health, just focusing on cancer, period. This one provision. It represents our investment in the future as hopefully this $100 million will generate other large contributions from other countries, focusing on the health of the Palestinian people, so they'll continue to have access to the best available care. So they know they have somewhere to turn for help. They have navigators that can help them through the process. Those of you who've been on the other side of a diagnosis know the most frightening thing is when you get the word, whatever it is, you can hardly listen. You need a navigator. You need someone to help you walk through the pieces, help you figure out how to deal with the treatment you're going to have once you're out of the hospital and need treatment. Working together, it is my prayer the United States will both help relieve the hospital's burden of debt and support the targeted infrastructure upgrades and key reforms in patient care to ensure long-term financial stability. We also welcome the $25 million contribution from the UAE, and I encourage other nations around the region and around the world to step up as well with their own contributions to support the vital work that's being done here. Palestinians and Israelis deserve equal measure of freedom, security, prosperity, and dignity. And access to health care when you need it is essential to living a life of dignity for all of us. The United States will continue to work with the Palestinian leadership, with the government of Israel, and with all our international partners to ensure that East Jerusalem's hospital network retains sustainable, remains available, and is able to provide high-quality care the Palestinian people deserve. I could say much more, but if my mother were here, Bishop, she'd look at me and say, "Joey, hush up. You've spoken too long." But I want to thank you again for welcoming me today. Most importantly, thank you for taking care of all the patients whose lives you make better. May God bless you all, and I'm finished. Thank you. If you have a question about hospitals and answers, if you don't, I'll do it privately.
I am American Palestinian from New Jersey, Bergen County, and I vote for you. I am a head nurse of pediatric intensive care unit at Maqasid Hospital. Thank you for your support, but we need more justice, more dignity, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, folks. Appreciate it very, very much. Thank you.
Yeah, 1 second. Gotta go clear that.
Yeah, if you could refeed that, mine was horrible. Yeah. Okay. All right, man. Good to meet you. What's up, man? How you doing, buddy?
نعمل ولا بالرجال؟ هو عشان حاطين مايك ايه جرب الصوت بسرعه جرب
بعدين بتوقف هون غلط.
واحد الآن حركي جيدة ثلاثة.
بطاقتك بها.
شو بطاقتي أنا
ليش محترم كشف بطاقة؟
سلام فخامة الرئيس. سلام كف.
2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Check, test complete. President Abbas, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Arabic, Arabic. Good. Good. Audio check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yep.
هلا على لندن هيهم دقيقة بكونوا عندنا دقيقة ضد المؤتمر
تيست واحد اثنين تيست تيست واحد اثنين تيست واحد اثنين تيست تيست واحد اثنين تيست تمام
والدراسة عندك تطمن
غرفتك الغرة بس نايم الغرة مجدي ولا صامتي على اليمين على الشمال دي
مش طريق وتطلع ولف طريق شوار علير علير
والله احسن من الكاميرا ما تطلع كاميرتين هون بعد وحنا 17 واحد طلع هيك لا هيك لا هدول مش عارف تعرف عليه
الفلسطينية. طبعا بعد انتهاء الزيارة هنا وانتهاء المؤتمر الصحفي سينتقل الرئيس الأمريكي إلى كنيسة المهجر في زيارة شخصية، ولكن هنا الطريق التي سيسير فيها الرئيس الأمريكي وحتى إلى الزيارة لا تكاد صور شعارات تتوجه به الزميلة الشهيدة شيرين أبو عاطف وأيضا زميلي رضوى بن سالم فيها سيد الرئيس. هنا يمارس التمييز العنصري. كنا قد قمنا بإعداد تقريبا لهذه الأهداف التي سيراها ورآها مع الرئيس الأمريكي لدى الرئيس.
اللي عند جماعة اللي عند ورا هذا بناء راسك زي الباطية اللحم المؤن.
ممكن يكون صورة الفيديو تبع شيرين.
ايوه
البوستر تبع شيرين
اخذته من هناك وبعثته سويته والله زي هيك يعني خدناهم مع عباس فيديو يعني مش وخدناه على الكاميرا الإلكترونية.
Really? فخامة الرئيس بايدن، نرحب بكم ضيف الصين في مدينة بيت لحم مهدي سيد في مدينة بيت لحم في زيارتكم الرسمية التي تعبر عن اهتمامكم بتحقيق السلام في أرض السلام. وخلال لقائنا اليوم كانت فرصة سانحة لبحث سبل تعزيز العلاقات الثنائية بين البلدين والشعبين. للولايات المتحدة أن تسهم به من أجل تهيئة الأجواء لخلق أفق سياسي لتحقيق السلام العادل والشامل والدائم في المنطقة. وقد أكدنا لفخامة الرئيس بايدن على أهمية إعادة تثبيت الأسس التي قامت عليها عملية السلام المستندة لقرارات الشرعية الدولية وعلى أساس حل الدولتين على حدود العام 67. فخامة الرئيس، بعد 74 عاما من النكبة والتشرد
of the Nakba, displacement and occupation. Isn't it not the time for this occupation to end and for our steadfast people again to gain their freedom and independence, and for the hopes of our young men and women who may cherish and trust their creativity to achieve a promising future without occupation? In this regard, we say that the key to peace and security in our region begins with recognizing State of Palestine and enabling the Palestinian people to obtain their legitimate rights in accordance with international legitimacy resolutions, and ending all the permanent status issues, including the Palestinian refugees issue. And the way to that begins with ending the Israeli occupation of our land, the land of State of Palestine, with East Jerusalem as its capital on the 1967 borders. Mr. President, we have respected the resolutions of international legitimacy and signed agreements, and we have committed ourselves to renouncing violence and fighting terrorism in our region and the world. We look forward to steps from the US administration to strengthen bilateral relations by reopening the US consulate in East Jerusalem, removing the PLO from the US terrorist list. We are not terrorists. And also we look forward to reopening PLO office in Washington. And we are ready to work within the framework of partnership and cooperation in order to remove any obstacles to achieving that. Mr. President, we look forward to the efforts of your administration to turn the page on the Israeli occupation of our land and the acts of racial discrimination, apartheid against our people, and to stop unilateral actions that undermine the two-state solution. We look forward to these efforts to stop settlement and the settler violence and respect of the historical situation in the Islamic and Christian holy sites under the Hashemite custodianship, and stopping the expulsion of Palestinians, demolishing houses, homes, and storming the cities, villages, and camps, and stopping the daily killing and arrests on daily basis. and holding the killers of the martyr journalist Shireen Abu Aqli. They need to be held accountable, because the continuation of all of that will lead to escalation on the one hand and loss of hope for a better tomorrow on the other. Mr. President, if Israel wants to be a compliant state, it cannot continue to act as a state above law. And this calls for Israel to end its occupation of the land of State of Palestine, with East Jerusalem as its capital on the 1967 borders. Only then Israel will be accepted to live in peace, security, and good neighborhood with the countries and peoples of the region, based on the Arab Peace Initiative. The opportunity for the two-state solution on the 1967 borders may be available today only, but we don't know what will happen later. Therefore, I take this opportunity on the occasion of the visit of Your Excellency to the region to say that I extend my hand to the leaders of Israel to make peace for the braves, and this has happened much before Oslo Accords. We have been extending our hands for peace with all the Israeli leaders, for a better future, for the future generations, and for all the peoples of the region. Mr. President, we welcome you again, and our confidence in you and your administration is very great, and we assure you of our readiness to work with you hand in hand in order to achieve comprehensive and just peace based on international legitimacy and the Arab Peace Initiative and the signed agreements between us and Israel. There are agreements that we need to respect in a manner that guarantees security, peace, stability, and lasting prosperity for all the countries in the region. Mr. President, peace begins with Palestine and Jerusalem. From here, peace starts. We extend our hands for peace and to work with you, Mr. President, to achieve it. Peace be upon you. Most welcome. Thank you.
Mr. President, President Abbas, thank you very much, and to your colleagues with whom I had the opportunity to meet as well. It's good to see you again, my friend. We've known each other for a long time, and I'm very proud to be with you today as President of the United States, and we can count ourselves among the earliest supporters of a two-state solution. As I stand with you today, now as President of the United States, my commitment to that goal of a two-state solution has not changed in all these years. Two states along the 1967 lines were mutually agreed to swaps remain the best way to achieve equal measure of security, prosperity, freedom, and democracy for the Palestinians as well as Israelis. The Palestinian people deserve a state of their own that's independent, sovereign, viable, and contiguous. Two states for two peoples, both of whom have deep and ancient roots in this land, living side by side in peace and security. Both states fully respecting equal rights of the other citizens. Both peoples enjoying equal measure of freedom and dignity. That's what this is fundamentally all about. Every person has a right to be treated with dignity. It's simply basic. I know that the goal of the two states seems so far away, while indignities like restrictions on movement and travel or the daily worry of your children's safety are real and they are immediate. The Palestinian people are hurting now. You feel it, you can just feel it. Your grief and frustration. In the United States, we can feel it. But we've never give up on the work of peace. You know, there must be a political horizon that the Palestinian people can actually see, or at least feel. We cannot allow the hopelessness to steal away the future that so many have worked toward for so long. So even if the ground is not ripe at this moment to restart negotiations, the United States and my administration will not give up on trying to bring the Palestinians and Israelis and both sides closer together. I do believe that in this moment, when Israel is improving relations with its neighbors throughout the region, we can harness that same momentum to reinvigorate the peace process between the Palestinian people and the Israelis. I recognize how hard all these challenges must be and will be to work through. Above all, there must be an end to the violence that has devastated too many families. It's heart-wrenching that so many Palestinian and Israelis have lost their lives just this year. And the United States has suffered loss as well, including the killing of Shireen Abu al-Khali. And she was an American citizen and a proud Palestinian. And she was performing very vital work in an independent media and vital work of democracy. Her death is an enormous loss to the essential work of sharing with the world the story of the Palestinian people. I hope that her legacy will inspire more young people to carry on her work of reporting the truth and telling stories that are too often overlooked. The United States will continue to insist on a full and transparent accounting of her death and will continue to stand up for media freedom everywhere in the world. President Abbas, in the past we met in Ramallah, but today in the Palestinian city of Bethlehem, a place of enormous significance in my faith as well. The birthplace of Jesus Christ. This is the city that lives in the hearts of millions of Christians and is a reminder of God's great gift to the world and our renewed and redemption in Christ. Muslim and Jews also have an intense and deep connection to this land, particularly in Jerusalem. Jerusalem is central to the national visions of both Palestinians and Israelis, to your histories, to your faiths, to your futures. Jerusalem must be a city for all its people. Its holy sites preserving the status quo, with the Hashemite kingdom of Jordan continuing to serve as custodian. And throughout this holy land, which is filled with so many places of meaning and significance to Muslims, Christians, and Jews, we must all be free to practice our faiths in peace, in safety, and in dignity. We cannot wait for peace agreement to be reached or for every issue to be resolved to deliver on the needs of the Palestinian people that exist today as I speak. The best way to feed the flame of hope is to demonstrate that things can be better. And President Abbas, the United States is a partner in this work to improve the day-to-day lives of the Palestinian people. That's why when I came to office, I reversed the policies of my predecessor and resumed aid to the Palestinians. More than $500 million in 2021. That support for the economic development of the Palestinian people, to strengthen Palestinian security, to provide food for people to eat, to respond to the pandemic, including donating more than 1 million doses of COVID-19 to the West Bank and Gaza. It also includes more than $400 million in humanitarian assistance to Palestinian refugees through the UN Relief and Works Agency, the UNRWA. And today I'm announcing the United States is going to provide an additional $200 million to the UNRWA so it can continue its vital work of helping the most vulnerable Palestinians, especially Palestinian children. Earlier this month, we decided, and this morning I announced, an additional $100 million in support of healthcare services for Palestinians throughout East Jerusalem Hospital Network. We were engaging with Israel around ways to spur greater Palestinian economic growth, including by implementing 4G mobile networks, increasing the supply of renewable energy, improving freedom of movement for Palestinians, both people and goods. These are the kinds of issues that progress can make life better for people right away, and we should be about it right away. And the Palestinian Authority has important work to do as well, if you don't mind my saying. Now is the time to strengthen Palestinian institutions, to improve governance, transparency, and accountability. Now is the time to unleash the incredible potential of the Palestinian people through greater engagement in civic society, to combat corruption, advance rights and freedoms, improve community services. All of this work is critical, and it will help build a society that can support a successful democratic future and a future Palestinian state. And the United States will work with you, President Abbas, at every step. So thank you again for welcoming me and my delegation, the Secretary of State, National Security Advisor, and others, to visit with you. I hope our visit is the start of a new and reinvigorated dialogue between the Palestinian Authority, the United States, and between the Palestinian countries and counties throughout and countries throughout the region, including Israel. So let's work together to show the people of the region, especially young people, that the future can be better than it is today. I thank you all very much, and may God protect us all. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Very important. We have to follow. We have to follow our approach. We have to achieve something to pave the way for